Welcome to Boss Talk, the official talk show of the Boss League. In these shows, we're going to look back on the previous week's matchups, highlights, and takeaways. And then we're going to transfer and look at this week's game of the week and also check in on our owners to see their perceptions on the game of the week and their matchups. But first, let's go back and let's look at last week's highlights. Wow, what an amazing week 5, with 5 matchups being worthy of game of the week, with the scores being so close. We also have to give a highlight to the Joshua Trees, who are still undefeated and seem like they're not slowing down at all. They must have had a good draft. That Mahomes kid is really special. So now we're going to transition and look at this week's game of the week. Jade Olympian versus NARCOS, our week 6 game of the week. Shaping up to be a very exciting one, with projections of Jade Olympian being a slight edge over NARCOS. But we know how unreliable those projections can be sometimes. Well, Jade Olympian coming off their first win last week, I know they're eager to get back out there and try to get another one. But I don't think NARCOS is going to try to let that happen. So let's chime in on some of our owners and see how they feel about the game of the week. I think first up we have Juan Stillers. Hey Juan, how do you feel about this week's game of the week?
Okay, Jay, that was a lucky win on Monday, you know about that. But I still hope you beat Narcos, because I need to be in the top 3.
That's smart, Juan. With a loss from Narcos and win from you, that top 3 spot is a good possibility. Now, Juan Stillers, how do you feel about your matchup this week?
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be tough. But you know what? This is going to be the result for both of us. 4-2.
All right, Juan Stillers, trying to be 4-2. I can respect that. Now let's transition to Juan Stillers' opponent for this week, Dice Giants. Hey, Dice Giants, how you feel about this week's game of the week?
Yo, it's gonna be a tough match, I believe. Jade Olympian, he trying to get his win up, and I know Narcos, he ain't trying to lose. He trying to stay in the up, in the record. So I don't know who's gonna win that one, man. I'm gonna give a slight edge to Greg. Narcos.
Dice Giants, that's a pretty reliable pick. Narcos does have a better record this year. Now let's change it up. Dice Giants, how do you feel about your matchup this week versus Juan Steelers?
Oh, I gotta chase Juan, Steelers, everything. I got much confidence in me and my players, so we're gonna try to do it, get another win.
It's good to be confident in your squad, Dice Giants, especially having Todd Gurley. I don't blame you at all. Now let's transition to our number 1 team in the league, Joshua Trees. Hey Joshua Trees, how you feel about this week's game of the week?
Game of the week, not really a game, man. I got Narcos. I don't understand how my man Narcos got put in the game of the week with Jade Olympian after one lucky win over the trash team Juan Steelers. But I got Narcos.
Never short for words, Joshua Trees. We appreciate your input. Now, how about your matchup? How do you feel about that?
Matchups, it's going to be another slaughter, man. 6-0. Head honcho.
Joshua Trees, always radiating confidence. Being the number 1 team, completely understandable. Now, I think we have 704 winners. Hey, 704, how do you feel about this week's game of the week?
Well, it's up in the air, man. I'm thinking Jade Olympian. Narcos is a tight game. Jade Olympian, he done turned it around. So I'm gonna go even on this one, man. It's on a crunch game, man. We'll supply the points, man.
All right, we appreciate that insight, 704 winners. Now let's transition to your matchup this week. How do you feel about you matching up against DJ Eagles?
I'm kind of on the same boat with this one, man. It's all on who's going to produce, man. It's a good game, man. We'll see how it goes at the end.
Couldn't have said it better myself, 704. Now we're actually going to go into Narcos. Game of the week this week versus Jade Olympian. Hey Narcos, how you feel about this week's matchup?
All right, man. Well, I got a message for you. I'm trying to make it short and sweet. If you beat me, you should be happy because you beat a legend. If you lose, it was expected.
The legend Narcos. I like it. So Narcos, change it up a little bit. How do you feel like your team has done so far this year?
I mean, we're doing good, man. We're going to the playoffs, man. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, folks. Narcos, playoff team. Now, Jade Olympian. Hey Jade Olympian, how you feel about this week's matchup?
Game of the week? Who we playing? Narcos. Oh, look at that. All right, cool. Well, Legendary Comeback started last week as fun. We're just going to keep it running. We're just going to keep going. We got some killers, and they're going to kill for me this week. You need to know that. My team in a nutshell, though, comeback kings. That's what they call it. They call the comeback kings, each of them. But it's going to be a good game. We got some fun.
Haha, Comeback Kings. I like it. But you heard it here first, folks. Game of the week, week 6. Jade Olympian, Comeback Kings, Narcos, the Legends. Make sure you tune in and watch all these exciting matchups in week 6. Boss League. Boss Talk, over and out. We catch you next week.